Okay, so I'm just here at about 11 o'clock on a cloudy day at Wilkesdale at my place. And what I'm noticing is that since cobblers pegs have taken over the property again after the rain, which is such a blessing, the pollinators have gone nuts. There are spiders going just every few meters, every meter even, I'm finding a different species of spider, just showing just how abundant this place is right now. And just as I was about to take a video of the cobbler's pegs on the little patch that I'm actually looking at, I watched this little caterpillar going across, so it was obviously more important for me to to look at this little baby instead of the cobbler's pegs. But check this out. So this is what's happening. Okay, we have them flowering, so loads of pollinators, bees, hoverflies, everything's coming up. And yeah, and like last night there was a little snake as well, a carpet snake. So just seeing how much life has come back since. And I'm very like attuned to what's going on mostly when I'm here. When I'm not too busy in my head, I can actually go outside and notice stuff. But so you can see, like, you know, no matter what plant life you have, there's a butterfly just there. You know, whatever plant life we have, it doesn't matter where it came from or what it's doing. Actually, it's always doing biodiversity a favor. I know people argue, like, you know, that some species are not as good as others, but these cobbler's pegs, the amount of life I'm seeing, I honestly can't. I will argue that it is essential to have any plant matter to feed wildlife, and whatever grows is a gift. You know, nature doesn't discriminate, and obviously everything's being fed, and at the moment this place is pumping, and it's been don't know how many days since it's rained, maybe like a couple of weeks, but the explosion is evident and animals are everywhere. Beautiful things I haven't seen before, like this hoverfly. Very hard to focus on. Have to go back to one. But yeah, it just blows me away, like really. Blows me away that all this life is here, and it's just great. So I say bring on any plant matter. Anything flowering has to be good, and it's going to bring carbon down through its root into the soil, and then succession will happen, because the cobbler's pegs here used to take you over like everything, smothered. So as time goes by, these seeds are coming up, but there's also other plants starting to come up as well, which is great. So, you know, initially you will have this explosion of a monoculture of something because it's repairing the landscape. That's what succession is. It happens, you know, successively. You've got one plant for some number of years depending on the damage in the soil and in the landscape, and then you've got something else take over. But look at all that moving and flying, and the species of butterflies that are on these cobbler pegs are just astounding. There are diurnal, like daytime moths. There's everything. It's just crazy, and all I have to do is just walk out and actually look, and it's insane what you see. And at night you can see butterflies sleeping as well on these little flowers, you know, just on the plants. It's just explosion at the moment with life. I'd love to get a close-up of some of these butterflies. Pollinating all these tiny flowers, and I'm really reluctant to take the flowers off, so I'm waiting till they bud before they seed, just because the seeds make it impossible for me to walk out. So I will wait till they all kind of mature and are no longer flowering, and then I'll probably snip them off and still allow the plant to grow. Just allow it to grow, because you don't want to take the roots out and destroy the whole ecosystem underground. Those plants, while they're alive, they're feeding the entire ecosystem underground with the carbon they're fixing from photosynthesis. So they're actually taking carbon down continually. And this is what we want. And no matter how bad it might look, this is actually good. This is brilliant. This is what we want. And you know, it might be annoying when these cobbler's pegs come out, because they're quite painful when you actually stumble into a crop. But you know, it's a small price to pay as far as I'm concerned. And this is brilliant. And this smells so delicious. It's like a minty smell. Wow, it's just invigorating every time you brush over it. It's just this explosion of smell. But some of the coolest thing, I sort of started looking at these hoverflies, but then look at this spider here as well. And there's so many spiders. There are so many spiders here. Nephila, so it's the golden ob weaver. Ooh, look at this fly here. This little hoverfly. Can't see anything, so, and I don't think I'm focusing on any of these things, but nonetheless, they're there. Moving and flying. And then what I've noticed is I was admiring the spider and other things. These tiny, tiny little beetles. They must have just hatched. I think they're beetles. They're small, I have to have a look closer. I think they are. They are so, so, so adorable. They look, I thought at first it was seeds. They were seeds, but they're tiny little beetles. And so there's just so much life, and you know, the life and the biodiversity translates into human health. Scientists are studying this more and more now, showing that the increase in biodiversity ensures our own health, which makes so much sense because nutrients and everything else comes from the soil, and the soil is enriched while more poop from a variety of organism comes down to the ground. So it's all about the biomass above ground translates into health of soil, and that translates into physical health of human beings, so, and all other animals, of course. So this is where it all starts, with these weedy patches. Like, this is a weed we're looking at here, and regardless of whether, you know, we're worried about it's going to spread somewhere or anything like that, the reality is if we were gone, if COVID-19 was to actually kill everyone, which is of course an impossibility, but let's say we're all gone because of something really drastic happening, weeds will take over first. They are the primary, you know, source of soil carbon, because everything else is now so damaged. The soils are so damaged that weeds are absolutely necessary. And you can see in this, my own little damaged patch, in the very, very sandy soil, we have this recurrence of cobbler's pegs year after year, which I welcome every time. Every time. And it keeps changing, ebbing and flowing. And here we go, we've got another little creature here, which is a caterpillar. Wonder what kind. I don't know if you guys can see this, but oh yeah, there she is. So this is it. For me, this is it. This is what makes life exciting, because I can see nature continuously trying to revive, survive and thrive. You know, and this is just very inspiring to me. So I encourage you to go out there and have a look what's around you and start documenting what's there, because this is going to be exciting stuff in the future for scientific discoveries, for learning about what's there and why, and just watching what happens when we allow things to grow and allow things to thrive, and document that so we have a beautiful evidence-based reality of what actually is happening, and not listening to what's written in, you know, in the media, or just make your own observations and experiments, because this is exciting. It's so exciting, and I think we can all contribute to this citizen science endeavour of finding out the biodiversity in our own backyards. Anyway, all the best, guys. Go out there and get it. Go and get the biodiversity recorded. See ya.